What did happen over the skies of Rendlesham in Suffolk, December 1980? Well, a new book entitled Haunted Skies by John Hanson and Dawn Holloway revisits the incident. It all began in 1983 when the News of the World ran this sensational headline. It was based on an official memo from this man, Deputy Base Commander Charles Halt. Mr. Halt, now retired, has returned to Woodbridge to give a talk on the latest revelations from that fateful night of 1980. Charles Halt told me he was a fan of Suffolk and had fond memories of his time here.
Oh, I've been back a few times. This is my favorite place.
Do you recognise? Is it all familiar to you?
Oh my, yes. I've stayed in the Bull Hotel before. I've been around. The only disappointing thing is that the base is not maintained the way it used to be, and a lot of our new facilities were bulldozed and lost, so to speak. Poor political decision, but that's not my choice.
Have you managed to catch up with any old acquaintances in your time here?
Oh yes. In fact, I spent yesterday with some. We went toward the base and did some things and talked about old times and reminisced a bit and had a drink in the pub.
How vivid are the memories of what took place 35 years ago?
Very good. In fact, what I did several months later, I sat down with a small recorder, cassette recorder, which was very popular in 1980, and recorded everything I could think of that happened, step by step through it. And recently I went back and listened to the tape, and I'll tell you what, I have pretty good memory. It got burned deeply into my mind. I guess it was so significant. You know, there's things that happen you never forget. That's one of them.
What do you think you actually saw?
I think I saw something under intelligent control. Now, I never saw personally a mechanical ship or some clearly defined shape. What I saw were lights. I saw three different things. I saw a glowing red eye-like ball that was dripping like molten metal that came toward us. It moved, it came into the forest, moved through the trees, missing the trees, obviously under control. The item moved back into the field and exploded and was gone. There were three objects to the north in the sky that had multicolored lights that moved in synchronization as though they were doing a grid search. We watched them for quite a while and we saw two objects to the south. They were white, bright lights. We couldn't discern a shape. There was a shape, but I couldn't tell what it was. One came overhead at high speed, very high speed, 2,000 or 3,000 feet up, and sent down a laser-like beam at our feet. Just click, it was on. I stood there in awe, very concerned. Is it a weapon? Is it a warning? Is it communication? And as suddenly as it appeared, it disappeared. The object then moved back to the south. The sister object to the south came over Bentwaters base and sent down similar beams in or near the weapons storage area. I can't say they went in. A lot of people didn't say much and kept their mouths shut for years till they retired. I've had a lot of statements now. I have confirmation from the air traffic control people, and I'm going to read it a little later tonight. They saw the object go across their scope, 60-mile scope, in 2 or 3 seconds, thousands of miles an hour. It came back across their scope again, stopped near the water tower, which wasn't far from them. They observed it. They watched it go over and go into the forest where we were. Watersham radar, Eastern radar we called it, definitely picked something up, and it was, how shall I say, it disappeared, so to speak, the recording and all. But one of the operators has confirmed that they did pick up a bogey, they called it, and it went into the forest, or they lost it near Rendlesham Forest. Our controller in the weapons storage area, we have a big tower there, saw the object, and so did a call man that was working there. 3 or 4 of the people on the ground in the weapons storage area went up and got a 12-power binoculars, and the objects in the sky, they say, were triangular. I could not see the shape because they were bright. They were just too bright to pick out a shape. Whatever was there was obviously under intelligent control. My personal feeling is there was some type of a mothership or bigger entity or something that was controlling what was on the ground and perhaps some of what we saw in the sky. I don't know. One of the people in the weapons storage area say he saw a much larger craft. None of them told me this at the time. I didn't find this out until years later, when they all retired. The air traffic controllers were asked, well, why didn't you confirm? Because I kept calling the command post asking, look here, what do you see? And they kept saying they see nothing. And the air traffic controllers told me that they knew anytime an air traffic controller reported a UFO, they got decertified. And they became a cook or a baker or a copper or some other such thing. So they said, hey, zip, we don't talk about it. I have signed sworn statements from them that they did what they saw.
Do you regret being part of the incident? Because
if I had to do it over again, I wouldn't have gone out. I would have sent a subordinate out. if you really want to know the truth. And I'm a little irritated because I wrote the memo because my boss and his boss didn't want their name on anything. But there was never any intent for that document to become public.
To this day, no one really knows what happened above the skies of Suffolk that night. The investigations and the theories continue.